We are being live streamed. Let me get this up. And John, once we motion to open the meeting, just read this line here on the agenda.
You want me to read that line now, or?
No, we got to open the meeting first. So I'll motion to open the meeting.
Do we?
I'll second that.
Yeah. Steve, do you know though, are we expecting any more of the members on the meeting?
We are expecting, I thought Joe was going to be joining. And
I'm here.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to use this. How do you put the video on?
There's a button in the lower left side corner that you should be able to just click on the video icon.
No, I got FaceTime, contacts, add calls, mic, keypad, speaker with the telephone number.
Top of the agenda has the Zoom link, Joe.
I tried all that. It doesn't matter. You got my voice.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
Good Joe. We have John Conway. You join? Wall's joined. Okay. So we have a motion and a second to open the meeting.
Okay, so we're ready to start the meeting then?
Wait, hold the vote.
We want to all in favor of starting the meeting? Can you just say aye or raise your hand?
Yeah.
Aye.
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 I'm Charlie. I'm an aye.
Okay. So I saw Tom, Charlie, Steve, her, Pete, myself, and Joe. Are you still there? Okay, great. So everybody has chosen to start the meeting. Just please be advised that this is an open meeting. It is being broadcasted live and recorded by WRPS for playback on WRPSRockland.com TV and YouTube.com WRPS Rockland. We are sharing the agenda, so we'll take these in order. Agenda item number 1 is review and approval of the minutes. Steve, do we have the minutes?
Yeah, motion to pass over John on this. We don't have minutes ready.
Okay, can we
I'll
get a
second the
second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, I heard everybody there. Okay, agenda number 2 is the invoice review. Steve or Tom, do you have invoices to review?
So I think Tom, you go ahead.
I was going to say all the ones that I've received, I have signed off on and submitted to for payment.
Great. I think there's one more that came in today regarding from Hoadley Plumbing. I don't know if you've seen that one yet.
No.
All right, I'll forward that over to you.
Okay, I'll make sure I take care of it tomorrow.
Tom, I just have a question on that. Any of those from Bell Traffic?
I don't recall. Let me see if I can look at my email.
That's fine. I just want to kind of get an idea where we're at with that.
Do you know what the description was? To jog my memory.
It should be for the equipment for the signal crossings.
Who's the vendor?
I believe it was Bell Traffic.
Bell Traffic doesn't ring a bell.
No, I don't remember seeing that.
Okay, he may have used a different vendor then. I was just curious to see if we had seen anything on that yet. I know that the all of the foundations are in, the wires have been run. I think it was just a matter of waiting on equipment for the installation.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments on invoices? Steve, you didn't have anything else for that, right?
Just the one that I'll forward over to the Tom after the meeting's done.
Okay, can I get a motion to accept the invoice review?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
aye.
Thank you. Okay, item agenda number 3 is review the pre-applications.
So I can take this. Give me a moment.
Okay.
I'm trying to take notes here too. All right. So first up, we have Copley Gardens. This is this was put through over the summer, initially as an emergency pre-application. It was determined at the time that it did not constitute an emergency. And so we asked to revisit during our normal processing. And so we have on the phone and on the Zoom meeting, Noel Humphreys from NeighborWorks, as well as Robert Corley. Noel, do you want to take us through this?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for having us back. So myself on the development side at NeighborWorks, as well as Rob, are here, as Steve mentioned. I'm going to leave it to Rob right now just to start off. He's going to talk a little bit about NeighborWorks itself and our programs, and then we'll just switch over to myself to go through the app a little bit, if that's okay.
Good evening, everybody. Members of the committee, thanks for taking the time to hear us this evening. It's great to be with you. By way of background, I just want, as the CEO of NeighborWorks Housing Solutions, I just want to let you know that we are a regional community development corporation, and we've been serving Rockland for a very long time through a variety of different services that some of you may be familiar with, including RAFT, which provides rental assistance to existing landlords, tenants, and homeowners, which has been a very important resource for Rockland over the last 2 years, of course. We also have a home buyer education center where we provide home buyer education, down payment assistance. We help existing homeowners in town with modification rehab loans for seniors looking for handicap accessibility, or families with children with sensory issues, as well as lead paint loans for existing homeowners. We provide low interest or loans or grants for those programs to the community. We also provide financial education, foreclosure counseling, reverse mortgage counseling, and a variety of other HUD certified counseling that we offer at NeighborWorks. We're a staff of about 100, and we cover a pretty large region, basically from Quincy down through to the bridges all along Route 3. So another thing that we do, of course, is real estate development, and Noel will obviously talk to you a little bit more about the project here, but we have a large portfolio of property all across the region. We administer other state contracts, including Section 8 for the state of Massachusetts in the region, basically performing housing authority type functions for the state, certifying the eligibility of applicants and recertifying them annually throughout the region. Last year, we serviced nearly 20,000 households throughout the region with some or all or pieces of some of the services I highlighted here. So we're not new to the community, nor is this property. And just wanted to give you a little background about who we are. We're an independent nonprofit. We are part of NeighborWorks America and leverage federal dollars from NeighborWorks America into the communities that we serve. And we're also part of the Massachusetts Association of Community Development Corporations, of which I'm a board member there. And we work very hard to leverage precious state dollars into the communities on the South Shore that oftentimes are sucked up into Boston and other places. So it's part of our mission to make sure we're getting our fair share of resources in the area. So just wanted to give you that background about who we are. and what we do, and then I'll turn it over to Noel to, unless you have any questions, to talk specifically about Copley Gardens.
All right, so I'm going to just jump in. So thanks again. So Copley Gardens is a project property located at 105 Market Street in Rockland. It has 83 units, and NeighborWorks has been owner of that property since the mid 1990s. So it was renovated back in 99. Right now, we are about to create, so of the 83, we're about to create 10 new affordable apartment homes. And as part of those 10, there'll be 5 fully accessible units. So as part of the rehab, we're creating 5 completely accessible units. So originally there were, I want to say 3 units on site that were sort of partially accessible. They were outdated in terms of the code and so forth. And so their accessibility, in terms of meeting it, they were not meeting those requirements. So now we're adding 2 to that. And so for a total of 5 completely done over affordable accessible units. And we come here today to request CPA funds in the amount of $100,000 or essentially $10,000 per unit to assist in constructing and redoing those units. And then also, of course, adding to the stock by doing the 10 affordable units.
So Noel, is the 2 affordable units, are they going to be part of, to the 2 accessible units, they're part of that affordable 10?
Yeah, there's actually 5. So I'm sorry. There were previously under former codes. So way back, there were back in the 90s, they created, say, like 3 units that were accessible, but that accessibility is outdated and very minimal. So as part of the construction, we're bringing 5 units on site up to full accessibility requirements. So in line with all of the Massachusetts code, completely redone and completely accessible. So it's 5 accessible units out of the 10 new affordable.
So 2 net new, 3 updates for accessibility.
Yeah.
Those 5 are included in the 2 net new affordable units?
Oh, yes. So there's
Is that
10
right?
new affordable units, 5 of which will be fully accessible. Be made fully accessible.
Total of 10.
Yes, a total of 10 units that
Yeah.
are now affordable.
Yep.
That's 60% AMI.
Yep.
So were the 3 before considered affordable housing?
No, these
They
are
were not.
10 new, distinctively new affordable units.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good news. Go through here.
And I did want to, if anybody, obviously, Steve, you had the questions, any other questions, just let me know. I kind of figured I'd lead in and then let you guys ask anything.
I have a few questions, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Joe. It's Joe Reese.
Thank you. So it's a total of 10 new affordable units, and out of the $100,000, is that money strictly for this property, or is that going into another fund?
No, that's strictly for this property only, and these 10 units.
Okay.
Can I expound on that question there? So that property contains 3 buildings. Is this project spread out over all 3 of those buildings?
Yes.
Yes.
So in addition to creating the 10 new affordable units, we're also renovating all of the existing units. So it's a $15 million project, of which we leveraged in state funds to support that. So we're upgrading all the kitchens, the bathrooms, the amenities, etc., throughout the entire property.
I did see that press release come out. Congratulations.
Thank you. No, we're excited about it. It needed it.
I think, from a from a guideline perspective, as long as this $100,000 request is earmarked to go toward funding for these 10 affordable units, I think it does fit the criteria for CPA funds used for housing.
That was my question as well. Have we gotten any guidance from the state on that?
We have not reached out to the state for that. You can bring up the matrix for CPA, but creating affordable housing, I do know, is an approved pathway that we can use funds for.
Well, this is a little more, I understand it a little bit better this time. You know, it's not for a playground or windows or something like that. If it's being used for these 10 units, 10,000 per unit, I think that's a pretty good bang for remodeling affordable units. So saying that, I'll let someone else have the floor.
No,
So I
this
just
is
said,
Peter
Joe,
Yule.
go ahead, Pete.
No, I agree, Joe. I had, the only reason why I had issues before was because it was just kind of, things weren't spelt out specifically. We were talking about lighting up dumpsters and putting playgrounds in. I think what I've heard tonight so far sounds great, personally.
Joe and Pete, I know you're not on the video here, but I will note that you know, in the later part of our application, it wasn't included in theirs, but it's more of the informational stuff for the applicant. We can use CPA funds to acquire, create, preserve, and support community housing, plus rehabilitate community housing if the community housing, well, rehabilitate if it's was acquired with CPA funds. But this is create, in my mind here, creating affordable housing, creating community housing for the residents.
Yeah, that's correct.
And Steve, I haven't seen the application. It's all in writing that it's for these 10 units and all that stuff.
Yeah, I can read the, let me go back to their application. I went to a different one because they had all of the things. So the existing 83 unit mixed income apartment community in Rockland, Mass, owned by the local nonprofit organization NeighborWorks Housing Solutions. NHS is rehabilitating the property for the benefit of the residents and future local households. As a part of its plan, it will convert 10 market units to affordable and make 5 units fully accessible. Some addition, they're requesting 100,000. Total project cost was a little over 14.5 million. The timeline is 8-month project, September 21 through April 22. How it benefits the town. The redevelopment of Copley Gardens meets the goals of CPA and benefits the town of Rockland because it will create 10 affordable units of rental housing and rehabilitate 5 units to make them fully accessible. Currently, 62 units are affordable and 21 units are unrestricted market rate. 10 of the unrestricted units will become affordable to persons with incomes at or below 60% AMI as part of the redevelopment. Other comments? It goes through what Rob had previously said about what NeighborWorks does, which just kind of outlines what they do.
This question's probably not basically for us, but how do you go about who gets those apartments? Do they go into a list or how's that work?
Yeah, there's typically a waiting list for affordable units. As you can imagine right now, they're in high demand. As the list grows, we conduct lotteries to select applicants that fit the criteria, the income criteria, et cetera. And then on these particular 10 units, what we're doing is we're restricting them, you know, essentially in perpetuity to be affordable, so that, you know, what were once market rate units are now permanently affordable.
Rockland residents first on the list for priority?
No, that's for fair housing rules, state fair housing rules. We can't have a local preference like that. That's a common question, but as far as fair housing goes, we're not allowed to do a local preference in that regard.
Thank you.
Right. And so, guys, we're just voting on the pre-application tonight. And Noel, I know you sent in, full presentation and your full application. But tonight we're just approving pre-applications. We'll have you back to speak to the full application, likely in a month or two, to get it ready for a town meeting.
Okay,
So we can
sounds good. Yeah, that's
certainly take a vote, guys, to approve this. We can also reach out to the commission for guidance on it as well. But it does sound, based on my understanding, that it meets all of our criteria. And I will note, Jen Constable wanted to be here, our assistant town administrator, but she had a conflict. She did express her support for this, and this will be partially funded with a revocation of the COVID release fund emergency authorization we made last year. They're going to pull that back. So a portion of these funds, I think it was 80 or 90,000 at the time, is going to be pulled back, and we can use it and apply it to this project. So I think it's really only a new ask of 10 to 20,000.
Steve, I just have a question. Obviously, this is good for the town. We do need more affordable housing. We need to get that number up as it is. But as far as the vote and vote things like that, is that something maybe we should do in an executive committee when we look at all the apps we have versus voting one at a time with other folks?
We can't.
I just want to make sure we're doing it correctly.
Yeah, we can't do it in executive session. It has to be open meeting when we vote on these things. We can continue to have discussion on it, but I think we should take a vote. I mean, I would like to take a vote tonight to at least move the pre-app forward. Final approval will happen when we approve the full application to move to town meeting. So we still have another step. Really, we're just authorizing it to move to the next step.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're doing it in the correct order.
Mm-hmm.
So let me understand it one more time. The 80 grand that we voted on for the COVID relief on rental, we're going to use that and an extra 20, correct?
Right, and we have those funds, I believe, and Tom, you can correct me, in the housing earmark budget to cover this in whole.
Okay, because we already appropriated the 80.
Right.
And
Right.
it wasn't used.
Correct.
What I understood.
It was never spun up. It was found to be too expensive to administer it and to adequately use the funds in any kind of meaningful way, is what Jen explained to me.
Yeah, if I may just add to that, with your discretion, that was set aside for rental assistance relief. And at the time, the state did not provide enough funding for a lot of the folks in Rockland who were struggling to pay their rent, or landlords getting their rent, or homeowners paying their mortgage. So this was a great suggestion and assistance to sort of fill a gap for a lot of folks that were in trouble. But subsequently to getting it in place and ready to get it rolled out, the state increased its limits to cover this gap. So instead of using the funds from the CPC, we went forward with using the state's funds to fill those gaps. So didn't spend the money purposely, as to not double dip when there was a nice state resource that ultimately became a federal resource. So just to explain sort of what happened there.
That's helpful to know.
Steve, one more question. I got a lot of questions sometimes. Sorry. So do we have to re-vote on this application where they're asking for 100 grand? It should be 20 grand plus that 80, or how's that work?
No, that'll happen as a part of, we can authorize this with that understanding that, because we don't have that needs to be in writing from Jen Constable. She's going to put that through, that request to pull that money back. And we know that's part of her plan. So we're just authorizing the pre-application to move forward to full application to be heard at a later date. And then we'll make that decision to write the articles at that time.
Yeah, and to just
Thank
add
you.
to that, any funds we use, Joe, comes out of the budget that we have, the account. So whether money gets put back in that account or doesn't get put back in that account, these funds would come from the account. So it's 100,000 either way, no matter where the money is kind of coming from.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions on this one before we vote? Okay, I'll take silence as no. So for this, since we're voting on these, if you could just say your name and whether you agree or yes or no. And so for this one, we'll be voting for the pre-approval of the NeighborWorks $100,000 pre-approval submission. And let me just, I'll make sure I see everybody here. I'll just call people out. So Charlie, since you're in my top corner anyway, if you could give your vote.
I am a yes.
Okay, Steve,
Aye.
Tom,
Yes.
okay, Peter,
Yes.
and Joe.
Yes.
Okay, so that's 6 yeses. I don't believe I vote.
We'll call unanimous.
All unanimous. Thank you, Noel. Thank you, Rob, for joining and working on the process with us.
No problem. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you
Happy
very
holidays.
much.
Have a
Really
good
And I'll be in
appreciate the
touch,
support.
Noel.
All right, sounds good.
With
Thanks,
the next
Steve.
meeting, when we get, get
And we'll
ready
let
for
the
that.
committee know when we're complete.
Certainly,
Great.
we'd love to see the progress and the final product as well.
Thank you. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
Happy
Bye-bye.
holidays. Merry Christmas.
Yep.
You too.
Happy holidays.
Okay. So the next one we have, get rid of the cover letter here, is application for additional funds for the rail trail signal project. Charlie submitted this, so let's let Charlie take it away.
Okay, so as we all know, last year we voted to, I don't know if it was last year, maybe in the year before, we voted to do the signalization project for the rail trail. With COVID and some increases in cost, it ended up that we were not able to do the entire project to do all of the crossings. So we have done the major ones, and this funding is to finish up to do the last remaining intersections that needed to be done.
It's only 2, right?
I believe it is to Vernon Street and Howard Street. Everything else has been done. So to date, Union Square has been completed in that they updated all of the signalization there with the crosswalk signals. They brought them up to ADA compliance. Like I was saying before, all of the underground work and foundations have been put in for Howard Street and Liberty Street. They just need to, they were waiting on equipment to install the equipment to complete that.
And how much is the funds that you're looking for to finish up?
We, working with the highway department, what they spent this last time, we basically just took that number and times 2 to cover those intersections. I mean, it's 83,600. It may be less. It's just gonna end up, it's just gonna be what the equipment will cost. And I think if we get it now sooner than later, I think we'll be able to stay within that budget.
What is our balance in our account? Anybody have that number?
I don't have an updated number from town accountant yet.
Do we have?
Last one I had was
fund?
from June.
So it was
Right, we-
2 something, I believe it was.
Yeah, and we got an additional big release recently too, I believe.
Yeah. From the first and second quarter taxes.
There's no other questions. Make a motion.
Can you, Steve, just scroll down some more so we can see the rest of the app?
So it looks like it's, and Charlie, I don't know if you went down, but you didn't include a project description. But really that's the only thing we're missing is the project description, which we know is it's an extension.
Sorry,
of-
what was the question? I may have missed it.
There's no project description included in the app.
I thought there was, it was attached.
Was it
It
attached?
should be piggybacked on the,
Yeah,
First
I'm pretty
application.
sure I used, a Word document to,
Word document too?
yeah, as well, because the actual project description was in a Word document.
All right, let me pause my sharing for a second and I'm looking at that. Give me 2 shakes. And it may not have reached me. I know that one. Oh, there it is. All right,
All right.
there we go.
No worries, I thought maybe I messed up, but that's good. I'm glad it's there.
Yeah. Really, it goes through all of what Charlie just stated.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I just revisited the original proposal and updated it for this current project.
I think one thing that wasn't mentioned is the installation timeline. They're looking at October to November of 2022 for installation.
And that may change, that may go back differently. I think once I work with Dave Keller on that to see how that all plays out.
Yeah,
But I mean, funding won't be available until after July 1st, correct?
correct.
Yeah, so I think that's why I came up with that timeline. That, July and August with the bid announcement opening, and then order the equipment in August, and then, October to November being installed. I think it was the same, it would be a similar timeline to the way this went down, this current project.
No, thank you, Charlie, for putting the details in there. It's good to see, the breakdowns and the timeline and that the equipment 66,000 of that 83,000.
Yeah, for Peter and Joe, equipment 66,000, installation 10,000, contingency 7,600. So you built that contingency in, which is nice, for a total of 83,600.
And Charlie, you might have said this, but does this complete the project?
Yes, that will complete the project. So that will be all of the intersections done. So, it'll be Liberty, Howard and Vernon, Union Square is done, Plain Street's done, or will be done, and then that's it. I think that,
Liberty. There's 5, right, Charlie?
I gotta think about it. It's been a while since I've been on the trail. So Howard and
You missed
Vernon, so yeah, Liberty Street. Liberty Street is being done. So Liberty and Plain Street are being done right now. And then Union Square has already been done to the best of their ability. According to Dave, he's gonna make some adjustments to the crosswalk there as well. So I think that's gonna come with some resurfacing of that area. Yeah, so that will complete the entire rail trail signalization.
Okay. So just if we, anything new, or if this is submitted again, it would be something brand new. Like a new light sensors somewhere else in town.
Correct. I think that, that Dave has some ideas of, with the rail trail extension and stuff like that, that may add on intersections. But at this point, no, this is for the current rail trail.
Does anyone have any other questions before we vote?
Just point of order that this is, again, we're approving the pre-application to move forward. So Charlie, when we do the rest of our applications to get ready for writing articles, we'll revisit one more time. But I am highly in favor of this.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion. Make a
Second,
motion to approve.
second motion.
I heard, okay, Tom second that. All right, and then we'll just kind of, once again, go around. So Charlie, you can speak first.
Yes, I approve.
Steve,
Aye.
Tom,
Yes.
Joe,
Joe Reese approves.
Pete,
Yeah.
and I approve this one as well.
Unanimous. Great. All right, back to the agenda. All right. So 0 Dexter Road. It's a 61B opportunity. Doug Lapp asked all committees to review this ahead of the end of the month, where we can make an opportunity to purchase the land. And so I'll read through this if you guys want. That way Peter and Joe can hear it. It's a notice from attorneys Strohan, Tochio, and Morgan PC out of Hingham. Hand delivery delivered to Michael O'Loughlin, members of the Board of Selectmen. It's a notice of intent to sell 0 Dexter Road in Rockland. Dear Mr. O'Loughlin, members of the Board of Selectmen, this office represents Jonathan Kiefman in relation to the sale of 0 Dexter Road, which is classified as recreational land under MGL Chapter 61B in accordance with the provisions of MGL 61B, Section 9. Please accept this letter of notice of Mr. Kiefman's intent to sell assessors parcel 5263-0, the tax parcel having the address of 0 Dexter Road. Mr. Kiefman lives in Pompano Beach, Florida. The tax parcel is vacant land situated on Dexter Road and is shown as Lot 3 on plan entitled A&R Subdivision Plan in Rockland, Mass, owned by Jonathan D. Kiefman, made by C.W. Garvey Co. Inc. and dated March 6, 2021, as filed with the Plymouth County Registry of Deeds in Plan Book 65, page 235, Lot 3, containing 5.18 acres. More or less according to said plan attached herewith is Exhibit A, and enclosing herewith Exhibit B, a certified true copy of the executed purchase and sale agreement between Jonathan Kiefman and MyLy, I guess, MYLY, LLC, dated November 8th, 2021. The proposed use of tax parcel after the sale will be residential development. So if the town doesn't buy it, it'll be used for residential development. There are no additional agreements between the parties. Please respond to this notice in writing in accordance with MGL 61B, Section 9. Please direct all correspondence to our office. It's delivered to Board of Assessors, Planning Board, Conservation Commission, State Forester, Attorney Galvin, and the owner, Jonathan Kiefman.
What is the
There's
use of this
Exhibit A.
land gonna,
So they're gonna petition to make it residential space. It's at the end of Dexter Road, I believe, and I can pull up the map here in a second. But I believe there's a property and then additional property off to the side that they. So it's an approved way that has not been constructed, which will give access to the additional lots. Looks like they want to subdivide the lots. The sale of this, so there's I think an existing house on a lot 1. There'd be a way that would give access to lot 2, which is off the back, and that's not in question. It's lot 3, which is the 5.18 acres. Exhibit B, a purchase and sale agreement. Purchase price is $265,000. So if the town were to buy it, we'd have to match the 265. We know that from the McCarthy Farm purchase, that we're not required to go out and do an assessment. We will, just to make sure it makes sense financially. If I think if Doug gets enough commitment from the committees to want to move forward. But we would be, if we would have funded either partially or in whole, the town would be on the town for 265 to purchase the land. They have 120
How many
days,
acres was it?
5.8, a
Five.
little over 5.
How many acres was that, Steve?
5, a little over 5.
Little over 5 acres?
Yep.
I'm just having trouble hearing you. Sorry. And what's the plan for it? Just for real estate purposes?
Yeah, Joe, this is John. Just if the town doesn't buy it, we have the first refusal. They're selling, it looks like they're selling it to a developer who's going to build residential houses.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. Okay, now first refusal. Okay.
Can you scroll just to the bottom of that lot 3 there? Is that the okay, yeah, so the golf course is on the back side of that. Okay. Actually on both sides, 3 all no, what's the other one? Rockland Foundation on the left. I don't know what that means. But
Yeah, it's Harmon Club and then, Rockland Housing Foundation. I think that's the new development that's going off the end of Norman Street. You can see here in this small picture, you have Albion Streets here.
Yeah.
And then you have Norman Street here, and that new development's going right
oh,
here.
okay. Okay. Yep.
So right now it's classified as a recreational space. You know, they'd have to go to zoning, I think, to make it residential, but we do have first right of refusal. As a power.
I do have some knowledge of this property because it's come before planning. So if anyone has any questions, I might be able to answer them, or maybe I won't, I don't know. But if somebody has anything.
Just my only question is, I mean, it's a good chunk of land. I kind of know where it is now, but does it connect to any of our, it doesn't look like it connects to any of our open space that we have now, right? So it'd just be kind of a block of space there between the golf course.
Yeah, I don't know if the town would have any access to it based on how it's situated. Charlie, do you know of any public access based on your conversations?
No, I don't think so. I believe the developer was going to put a road in.
Yeah,
And
looks
there's
like
a
they want to
couple
put it here.
Yeah, there's a couple of residential lots. I mean, I guess you can make it residential. My personal opinion, and not representing anybody else, it's going to be a tough little residential spot to get that road in.
So we're just buying it so the developers can't buy it and build something.
It would be to preserve open space, I think.
Yeah.
It is, so it is zoned, it looks like it is zoned for residential. I think it's the 61B is a tax law, which gives them first right of refusal, like we did with the McCarthy Farm. It was what, chapter 41 or something, that allowed the town first right of refusal. So there must have been an agreement at some point that put this into 61B for lower tax rates. And so we have the opportunity to buy it, but from a zoning perspective, it is residentially zoned. So I can't imagine it would run up against much.
I'll make a
Much there.
motion to approve.
I'll
So I think
second.
so I think what we need to do is just, if, I don't even know if we have to vote. It's,
Yeah, no.
is this something that we want the town to pursue? I think it would likely be, one of us or open space that would put forward the application. And due to the time sensitive nature and the precedents we set with McCarthy Farm, it doesn't need to fit within our normal deadlines of pre-application receipt. It is considered, an emergency because of the opportunity and it coming in after our deadline for the pre-applications. But if we're all favorable to preserving open space and using a portion or, the entirety of our funds to fund it, then, I can get back to Doug and say, we're in favor of protecting the land.
Charlie, what's the land look like? What could we use it for? Could we use it for any type of ball fields or, senior housing? I have I'm just throwing a couple things out there.
I think, again, the issue you're gonna have is gonna be access into the property, because as you can see, there's a house on the property now, and then they're gonna cut a road in there to go out to access the back of it. Honestly, I think we need to kind of think about what use it would have. I don't know. I mean, I like where we're thinking, Joe, about that, possibly elderly housing or something like that along those lines. But I think we need to get some more information about the parcel itself.
From Norman Street, is that the housing, elderly housing that we have now that just was built, is that connected to this property?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the map again, but I believe it may be connected there somehow.
Yeah, it says it's Rockland Housing Foundation is the abutter.
But is that may have been land that the town had purchased before with the intent of doing elderly housing that they didn't end up doing in that area? So
Oh.
I'm not sure. Let me pull up the map. Hang on one second.
Is it GIS, Oliver?
Yeah, it's Mass GIS, I think.
Nope. It's Bridgewater.
You know, and I just want to say, like, for the purpose of our discussion tonight, it's more, I guess we just have to think of it as purchasing open space that's just, you know, not developed, nothing on it. It's just, we're just, you know, locking in the open space.
Playing defense.
Yeah, we can use the funds for that.
Right. And if, you know, something down the road, we can do something there, something changes. Get to it.
That's that entire parcel from Albion down past Saxon Road and into the golf course is one big parcel. So where that elderly housing is, that Rockland housing, that's all one big parcel. And so it fully abuts it based on the GIS map. And the other abutters is Harmon, both south and east. And then north is the two other properties that it sounds like this gentleman owns.
So we own property that connects to it, so we will have access to it somehow, some way.
Does the town actually own this property? The little tool is not showing up. Oh, there it is.
I believe that on Albion Street and Norman Street, that parcel out there we own, right? And the Cody's and the gas station.
We can also confirm, Steve, with Doug. I mean, he would know if the town owns that. I mean, that would be, like Joe says, even a more reason to buy the property.
Right, but that property, Joe, you're talking about abuts that housing property, not this property in question. From behind where the old police station was, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Where is the?
I say let them go. Let them keep going forward. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I'm in the same mindset. You know, I think we should at least, you know, do what we can for it. If the town and other groups think it's a good choice.
Guys, I'm gonna put some waffles
Yeah.
in the toaster oven.
What?
We didn't have dinner.
I think it's a good idea. All right, I will let Doug know that we're open to it.
Yeah, now that I've looked at it again on the GIS, I mean, it definitely deserves some more exploration by us as a possible potential, for sure.
Yeah. And one of the things we can do is protect open space, even if it doesn't have public access. You
Yeah.
know,
Right. I think, and I think that's what we have to just think that that's what it is right now.
Yeah.
And it's just a bonus if there's some other way we can access it and do other things with it.
Annoys me.
Right.
No, and they shouldn't be doing that. I feel like it's disrespectful.
All right,
Okay.
moving over to the agenda, back to the agenda. And I do want to note at 7:30, we are opening for public forum. I don't think we've had anyone join yet. I know when I waited last meeting, no one showed up anyway. We didn't have a quorum, but I hung it out until about 8 o'clock.
Okay. I'm watching the
Don't anticipate much.
participants.
Yeah.
No one's tried to join or anything like that. So,
Okay. So discuss status of ongoing projects. And I'm going to use this list that I had from earlier in the year when Biz sent our CPA projects over to the state. And if we're missing anything, we can add it now, and so it's ready for if folks do show up for the forum. You can go down the list.
Yeah, can
So
we
Charlie,
make that a little,
you a little bit bigger?
a little bit? Just, I'm squinting here.
How's that? Is that all right? You want to go bigger?
Yeah, that's much better. Thanks. It's my old man eyes.
Yeah. So the King Philip hand tub.
All right, so unfortunately, I don't have bad news, but I don't have really good news either. So the gentleman that is planning on restoring it has had some health issues, and he was scheduled to come and take it from its storage area and bring it to his place in Maine to start, the restoration. He's had some health issues. That did not happen. I have been in constant contact with him. He assures me that he is still going to do the project. He has brought on some additional staff to help him. So I am waiting anxiously and eagerly for him to say, I'm coming to get it, or get it up here. We're ready to go. It's taken me a lot long, or us a lot longer than I ever could have imagined that this would take. He is a craftsman, and he is kind of quirky, and he is the best at this restoration, but we're kind of at his mercy with some of these things. I wish I had better news to report, but that's kind of where we're at. Doug and I have been, and the chief have been in pretty constant contact with each other on the project, and, making sure that it does not stall out and move forward. But again, we're kind of at his mercy because he's had some health issues.
Charlie, quick question. Is it, and this might just be a real silly question, would it help if we could get it to him?
I'm not sure it would help, because my impression after I talked to him last was he didn't want to take it into the shop until he knew that he was going to be able to start that project and go full tilt on it. He wanted to kind of have it wait. But yes, I mean, believe me, I've thought of that as an option, getting it up there to him and having it in his possession. But he's kind of given me a little bit of pushback on that, saying that he wants to wait until he knows he can go full tilt on that. He had a very full shop up until about 3 months ago. He's delivered quite a bit of apparatus out to areas. And that's actually how he was going to pick up King Philip. Was he had delivered another hand tub to Connecticut. He was going to come from Connecticut to here. And then, like I said, he ran into some health issues. Doug and I have kicked around with the chief about trying to find someone else. The issue that we have is that this is a very rare thing, and there are not many people left that even do this thing anymore. He's a dying breed, unfortunately. If you go on to, if you have Nat Geo, there's a documentary about him and his shop up there. That's very interesting to watch. So if you get a chance and you have Nat Geo, watch the documentary about him. It's pretty interesting. But unfortunately, I don't think there's anybody else that could really take on this project.
Charlie, how old is he?
He's probably in his early 60s. And he's been restoring antique fire apparatus for probably 40, maybe 50 years, 40 years. I mean, and that's kind of why he's having some health issues. I think he's, it's all those chemicals that he's worked with for so many years. But I did recently talk to him. He said everything was coming back in his favor, and he thought he would be back, in the shop very soon.
That's good news. Hope he's doing all right.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that's the most important thing is his health. But again, it is a little discouraging because I thought we'd be a lot further along than this at this point. But I have faith that we will get there.
Can't help any of that, Charlie.
No.
Yeah.
Any
we
new
already-
news on?
We covered the signalization. I don't really have anything else other than that. So on this spreadsheet, this isn't any money dispersed yet. This is just where it fell into.
This is just, this is the state reporting requirement
Okay.
that Biz has to send in. And so that
All
I'm
right.
just co-opting that. I had it from the summer.
Okay.
And running off of it. The one thing that I know that's not on here is that COVID rent relief project, but that'll likely go away anyway.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Isn't that line 6?
Oh, it is. I glossed right over it. Ignore me.
You knew it. You got it. You're comprehensive.
Yeah, I just saw it too.
Tom, you have some new news on the Tramp House, right?
Oh yeah, me and Jim Paul are up on the roof stapling down a tarp to get it through the winter.
Oh my gosh.
We are slated to start first good weather in the spring. Anticipation that it will be done hopefully no later than midsummer.
Good.
Real good.
They signed.
Another
they
long
signed a
time coming.
contract. Doug signed the contract, right?
I believe so. We're using Red Tail Construction, local lady on Exchange Street. She specializes in antique renovations.
Yeah, I think I heard him say something on the selectmen's meeting that he approved that contract.
Yeah.
He does unbelievable work as well.
I have something on Hearts of Park. So Gene actually showed up at our last scheduled meeting that we didn't have a quorum and had some paperwork. I don't have it digitally, otherwise I would have shared it with you guys. But we did get the estimates back from the company that she was using. And of course, I'm blanking. Traverse is their name. And Gene has split it out into kind of priorities and phases. And so phase 1 was going to include widening the front entrance of the lot, renovating the parking lot, utilities for water, sewer, and electric for parking lot lights, multifunctional gym building and shelter in the Grove. The most expensive of which is that multifunction gym building at a little over 2.1 million. So estimated for phase 1 is 2.4, a little over 2.4 million. Phase 2 is a bathroom for the Grove in the lower field, just over $500,000. Expand the playground, a pump track, which is for like BMX biking, essentially. improving the disc golf course and moving that around a bit to accommodate the next item, which is paths for the walking trails. There's kind of some conflicts there. And I know the disc golf community is going to work this winter on trying to eye some of the new holes proposed by Traverse and start to kind of beat them in. It's, spots where they're, very young growth there, very small trees, like maybe an inch round and some brush. So we're going to look at that and see if that makes sense and if those, if those will work. And the fitness stations that we talked about, doing some small fitness stations and rest areas along the walking paths. And the cost for phase 2 was a little over 857,000. So total for the two is just shy of 4 million. Obviously, this is not something that's like, get it all done right away. I don't think that's the expectation. It's, getting the areas that really need the work done. The parking lot is a big one.
I just wanted to add something real quick. I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's phenomenal. I think it's great, and I hope we can get there for sure. And I like how prioritizing the projects was how we did that, or how she did that, because I mean, yeah, we'd love to just go in there and blast it all out, but I think that the prioritizing it is the way to go with it for sure.
Absolutely agree, Charlie.
Has it been surveyed yet?
I'm not sure.
That been,
I don't think so. I haven't seen any stakes out there.
Pete, do you have anything on that? I know she said something to you at one time.
Yeah, a couple weeks back, I thought she did say that he had the surveyor coming out. I don't know if he was out or not yet. This was about, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So they are en route to coming out, but I don't think they've been there yet. And can any of this work be done in-house? It's like, I was looking at some of the specs on the quotes, and there was a couple things like that entrance, if that's going to be the first part of phase 1, just the sign alone, putting a new sign up and turning it the other way was kind of just some ridiculous dollars. Can some of this stuff be done in-house?
I think so. There is mention about like the pump track. She thinks that some of this could be done with town resources. I would imagine the parking lot and the entrance is something that we could leverage highway for, like we have other projects, like the rail trail.
I know that when I talked to her last, she had talked about that. She was going to reach out to those people because, like you say, some of the numbers that were on that stuff is just ridiculous. And I know that working with Peter and in the highway department, we could do much better. And honestly, quite honestly, I'd rather see the work go to the town services if we can do it. It just makes it so much better. I know she was reaching out to the sewer department too, to find out about how that was going to play into it, because they'll need a sewer line, I guess, for the bathrooms. So she was going to reach out to them.
And I know there is a water line that runs right across that field, and the proposed new restrooms would be down by that field. Is that correct? Yes.
I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
There's 2 bathrooms. I think they're in 2 different phases.
They are. So you have the Grove bathhouse and then the multifunction and bathrooms for the parking lot area. Right now it's serviced by a porta potty in the parking lot area, by the field and the basketball court, and then there's the bathhouse that's in the Grove area. So that's
Peter, you may know this. Is there's no sewer up there now. So the bathroom that's up there now, is that on septic?
That's on septic. All I was getting at was, as far as the new ones that would be down by the ball field in the parking lot, the water does run right by there, so that shouldn't be a huge hit. In the sewer, we're just going to have to take it off of Hingham Street, which isn't a huge run either.
No, I agree with you. That's what I was thinking too.
All right, how about GAR Hall updates? You have anything there?
The ceiling plastering's done. I think they're still waiting or trying to find lighting, modern lighting that approximates what it used to look like. So essentially, you know, antique LED lighting. But I've seen the ceiling, it looked pretty good.
Excellent.
I'm excited about all these items.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I agree. I agree. And this is, I mean, I think it's a lot longer than a lot of us thought it was going to be, but I mean, these are some amazing projects that are really going to have a lasting impact on the community, and they're awesome.
I mean, even the hobo house there down on Spring Street, there was talks about having the gardening club because we still own a good chunk of area right behind that. And I would have no problem going out there and cutting that brush down. And we've got a good sized tiller and tilling a big old area up behind there.
It's funny you should mention that. When we were working on the tramp house, and I was noticing how overgrown it was, and it's like, wow, that's a nice concrete bench in the middle of all that. Too bad you can't get to it.
At one point, I had tilled it on my own time down there, and then the Girl Scouts, who were just trying to do good, went out there and they put a bench, they put rock pathways, and I'm like, so that kind of fixed that as far as tilling it the following years, and it just all overgrew. But we'd just start over, that's all. It wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, there's a toppled over telephone pole there now too.
Yeah, yep.
You want an update on Reed's Pond?
Sure.
It's still in limbo. The lawyers are trying to figure out, because there's no paperwork still. They can't, with the people that are caretakers of it right now. There's no legal documents. So there's two ways we're going. Either we buy it or we take it. And both ways, it's still pain in the you know what. So
We would
that's
have
the
to,
update.
the cemetery portion as well.
So subdividing it is looking unlikely at this point.
I couldn't understand the question.
Subdividing is looking unlikely.
As of right-
No, it's still most likely because we don't want to be in the business of operating a cemetery. That is dividing it, taking that parcel, possibly one more.
So is the issue that we don't know who owns the property? Is that the main issue, the crux of the issue, other than the cemetery?
No, the cemeteries, they don't have the proper documentation for the people that are the caretakers. Somewhere down the line, paperwork got lost or wasn't transferred correctly. It's a mess. Town council's working on it. Jan, I'm just going to say Jan. She has a lawyer now that's working with town council on it. She wants it to happen because she's between Massachusetts and Florida, and she's probably going to be heading to Florida, for her residents to live down there permanently. So she doesn't want to deal with this anymore.
Okay, that's the gist I had, but I wasn't sure.
I mean, if we subbed out just even the burials portion of it, it wouldn't be so bad, but then we would also either have to pick up all the weed whacking and mowing, which is a full-time job in itself, or would have to sub that out and we'd just be losing money there. Just FYI to throw it out there.
Yeah, Doug is totally against, at this time, against taking over the whole cemetery. We don't have the manpower to do it.
Right. Going out of order on this, I don't know if anyone knows, but there's a note here that the library window replacement project has been completed. We know if that's
Yes.
accurate? Oh, it is.
Yes, been paid
Great.
and everything.
Nice.
Yes, it has been done. I went over there a couple of days when they were working on it, to kind of check in on it.
Nice. That's good news. Our
Mr.
second
Chairman, can I
completed
speak
project.
Mr. Chairman. Hello? You guys got me?
I hear you.
Can I, I'm gonna sign off. My family just got in from the airport. You need me to stay on?
Oh, I don't think so. Steve, we don't need Joe, right?
No, we still have a quorum if Joe has to leave.
Okay. Nice Christmas, guys. Be safe.
You too, Joe.
Yep, have a great holiday.
You too.
Thank you, Joe. You too.
Bye-bye.
Steve, what's on the agenda? What else is on the agenda? Is it just the open forum?
This is it. Besides the open forum, was reviewing this, and I kind of, my hope was that we were going to lead into this essentially as 7:30 rolled around, so the citizens could hear about all the projects. But we don't, John. You haven't seen anyone else try to join?
No, yeah, I was just looking. There's nobody's tried to join.
Okay. Let me just go back to the agenda, make sure I'm not missing anything else. Yeah, ongoing projects, adjourned to open forum, and then open forum essentially had review of the project list, which I was hoping kind of we led into that with what we're doing now. And essentially, we'd adjourn our discussion, open forum. We listen, because we can't discuss, if you guys went to the training, we can't discuss anything related to what gets proposed at open forum until we make it an agenda item. We can take names and follow up with these people and invite them back to discuss their topics, and then adjourn. And that was really it.
Okay. I don't think there was anything on the rest of the ongoing projects that we wanted to discuss. No.
I did note that they broke ground on the Remembrance Park next to Town Hall. I was
Yep.
there the other
Okay.
night. Yeah, they're underway there.
Yep, that's looking good too.
The remembrance dirt pile.
Got some retaining blocks in there too, I noticed.
Yeah, no, it's coming along pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I'll try to remember tomorrow to send an email to the town accountant to get a breakdown of the current fund balance and see what the different individual account balances are. Give us a better idea of what we're looking at for 2022.
Great.
One thing I want to know, guys, an email came in yesterday. The Board of Health in their last meeting this week has mandated that all committee members, when they're on holding meetings at Town Hall, that they require masks. So if we do an in-person one, and I am working with IT and WRPS for a hybrid option for our next meeting, so folks can go in or be on Zoom. We would be the pilot group for that. So just be aware if you do come in to wear a mask.
No problem.
Yeah, I hope, Steve, you are able to do the hybrid model, because we were looking about that with the planning board as well. And we were told there was no way. So hopefully they can get that worked out, because a hybrid model for that would be good.
Yeah,
I think it's
just,
absolutely doable.
you know, it's totally doable, but you know, you need to have the town resources for it. But I just think the way the world works now, we definitely need to have a Zoom. We need to have that capability. Just especially with a small group that we have, we got to make sure people can join from wherever. So just, you know, as long as we make sure we have a Zoom for our meetings going forward, and then hopefully we can have some in person as well when needed or available. So.
Yeah, completely agree. I think right now Zoom needs to be our primary.
Yeah.
And then in person is kind of the option if we can make it work, and happy to go there and try to help Gino make it work. Especially, you know, the open forum is really what made me want to have the option. You know, we have a big elderly population in town that may not be comfortable using, you know, Zoom. And so showing up and having the opportunity to speak in person may be a better option for them. And so that was the idea there.
Yeah.
If nothing else, I guess motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, that's unanimous. So Steve, so we're good for the open forum as well, right?
Yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Motion to open forum.
Second.
Second.
In
All
favor.
in favor? Aye.
And seeing no,
We double check, but it's
double
just
check, John.
just the five of us.
Okay.
Motion to
Yeah.
close the open forum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Steve, we were on the same page with that.
Good, good.
All right, I'm just going to stop the recording then. Okay, well, everybody have a great holiday.
You too,
Happy
John.
New Year, and hopefully
You too.
we'll have a productive 2022.
And Steve,
Yep.
don't forget to send me that invoice.
I'm sending it right now.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys.